I think, therefore I am? Absolutely not. I know I am because I am conscious and aware of it. Put another way, because I exist, I am able to think. You should never begin a sentence with, my mind told me, blah, blah, blah. Because if your mind is telling you what to do, then you're not in control of it. Whenever that is happening, you are in a compulsive state of mind. Compulsive thought and behavior are basic survival instincts. All creature is not an offensive term, it simply means created. So, as I was saying, all creatures come equipped with a reptilian brain that they use for their basic survival. The reptilian brain is what animals use in the jungle, where they are competing only to survive. That's how a dog uses it. Going around peeing on every darn light post singing I, me, mine, as it establishes a pea kingdom. So the reptilian brain is boundary setting. Setting boundaries impedes growth and expansion, however. You can't grow beyond boundaries. That is a problem for the human being given their evolution. All because human beings want to go, the intellect wants to go out of bounds. All living creatures come with two lines, a bottom and a top. The bottom line, all other creatures, the bottom line is your date of birth and date of expiration. And your top line is your ceiling. So a mouse, whether a mouse, a cat, a dog, a turtle, etc., can only be such and such. Therefore, all it can do is become a full-fledged this or that animal of its kind. In the cases of human beings, however, they only have a bottom line, no ceiling, no top line. So whereas you wouldn't ask a cat what it wants to be, um, that would be ridiculous given it doesn't have the ability to make choices. A human being, on the other hand, is different given the evolution. Given the evolution, and in addition to his or her reptilian boundary setting brain, a human being also has the cerebral cortex, wherein lies his or her intellect. The intellect is unlike the reptilian brain, whereas the reptilian brain is boundary setting, the intellect despises boundaries. It yearns to grow and expand without any limitation. So, for the human being, yearning is a never ending process. One yearns, yet she can never be fulfilled, though through the physical body and mind, because everything in the physical created universe comes with boundaries. You, for example, you are bounded by space, which is your height and shoulder width. You are bounded by time, which is your lifespan. Your heart can never become full. It is only full until you meet something or someone more appealing. And as for your mind, even if you crush all the labyrinths and pound them into your head, there will always remain something more for you to learn. Therefore, fulfillment for you as a human being is to live a full-fledged life. Be like the cat, desirous of becoming a full-fledged human being, which is a lifelong process. So that as long as your mental acuity remains intact, you as a human being should only become full-fledged whenever you are dead. So because you come without a ceiling, you will continue to yearn. If you become a village councillor, you will want to become the village chair. If you become the chairman, you will want to become the area rep. If you become the area rep, you will want to become the prime minister. And that there is nothing wrong with being ambitious, without limit. Notwithstanding, be a person of integrity. Keep your humanity lit. It is wrong-headed for society and the education system to have trained individuals to compete instead of creating an enabling environment wherein people are able to become the best version of themselves. You are created an individual, one of a kind. And so no two persons are exactly alike. Therefore, one should be free to explore and discover the nature of his or her own existence, as well as what she is joyful and engaging in, and competent at doing. Each individual among the 8.3 billion world population is uniquely a one-of-a-kind product in this world. So one's stiffest competition ought to be him or herself. That is becoming a better and better version of him or herself every day. So once again, you should never begin a sentence with my mind, blah blah blah, because thinking is an activity. You have to stop to think. Whatever you are doing to think, wherein you are consciously creating thoughts, you don't think out of memory. Memory is old. You can't create a single thing using memory. Your mind has four branches. Your intellect, one, buddhi, is being overused. That's what they use a lot in the education system. Your intellect is likened to a knife, or a scalpel. It is only good for dissecting things, not stitching. It is logical and works with your five common senses: smell, hear, taste, touch, and see. So, buddhi, the intellect, is only outward bound also. It doesn't determine from within your inner engineering you need for that, how you think, feel, and experience life. All experiences come from within a person. You don't need to be out there trying to find squeeze pleasure out of the environment. You create the environment. So you create pleasure from within yourself. So both in the intellect, notwithstanding, you want it to be sharp, is only as good as the data that you enter into it. Buddhi is not good for stitching, like I said, things together. For example, once you dissect the frog, you no longer have it. So you can't understand it by having a relationship with it. You only know the material aspects. You can't know it experientially, how through the relationship. Which, before you can know anything, you first have to be able to perceive it. And there are only two ways of knowing. One is via logic, which we spoke of extensively. The other way, is through know the nature of your existence is through your consciousness and awareness, which is the way only way you can know God. That's why since you can't know God through logic, it's a process you have to surrender to. There's no other way. You God, who is a spirit in nature, how else can you know God? You can't see, you can't touch, you can't taste, you have to surrender. God is a spirit. So you have to surrender through the experience of a relationship, which is also hypothetically how you know a prostitute, through a one-night stand, by, by which you acquire legal and spiritual knowledge, by way of experience of a relationship, without any need for any down logical understanding. So the second branch of the mind is ankara, which is identification. You identify with a family, a country, an organization such as a church or a political organization. So buddhi, the intellect, is only as good as the quality, data, or lack thereof that you enter into it. Therefore, since you want your intellect to be sharp, you need to have a steady hand with which to hold it. The data that you enter in, has to be quality. The third branch of the mind is a silo of memory known as manas. So that runs throughout the entire system from the tip of the head down to your teeny tiny toe. That includes elemental memory, atomic, genetic, karmic, conscious and unconscious, articulate and inarticulate, evolutionary as well as sensory memory. We don't have time in this one sitting to explain what each represent, But the fourth branch of the mind is Chita, your intelligence. It's an intelligence that is void of memory. It doesn't work with memory. It is your creator genius. Everybody has one, Most people, however, need to activate it. So it works with your consciousness and awareness. The way you know that you exist, the way you know God is through your consciousness and awareness. Because you're conscious and aware of God, because you're conscious and aware that you exist. One doesn't strive to become more conscious, You simply turn up the voltage. So if you're only seeing 10% of the people in a room, for example, then as you turn up the voltage sufficiently, you see everyone in that room to where you don't even need to focus. You just need to pay keen, undivided attention. So because light reveals everything. So to be in the dark means to not know something. Likewise, then, to become enlightened simply means to know that which you didn't know before. Truth and reality are not things that you either read in books or hear from professors. They are things that come naturally. If you have to invent them, then they are either stories or lies. You neither need to be an optimist nor pessimist, you know. Just be a realist. For God is real, and so is life. Truth and reality are related in that truth is something that you come to realize. Since reality never changes, you can only come to realize it. It's when the light bulb comes on and you go, ah, wow, I got it. Now I know. That is all the time we have for. Much obliged. Have a good one.